know from an early age that you wanted to be a writer, or is it a calling that's only emerged in recent years?
I definitely wanted to be a writer as a child, so I think when I was about 6 or 7, I started to carry around a little notebook with me, and I would write these little stories about my toys. Blinky and Rachel were a pair of sisters who would get up to shenanigans like going to the beach or buying a house, which happened in like the most impractical way possible. They like kind of just decided, okay, we'll buy a new house, and walked into a house that they liked and said to the person living there, we would like to buy your house, please. So that, I guess, were the unpromising beginnings of my literary efforts. And this was an ambition that, I guess, persisted throughout most of my childhood and teenage years. So I remember when I was 14, a good friend of mine who also was interested in writing and who is now working on her first novel as well, we actually wrote to a well-known Singaporean author called Catherine Lim, saying, hello, we note that you write books. We would like to write books too. How do we go about getting published? And I think it's really a testament to how much the literary scene in Singapore has developed that it was now possible for me to, just send off a manuscript to Epigram Books, which Edmund here runs, and that they were willing to just kind of consider a cold manuscript and take it on and transform it into a thing that exists in the world. So I guess, I always wanted to write, but always felt that, wasn't sure when I was growing up that there was much of a market for it, or that it was something that could happen other than sort of purely privately for my own amusement. And I guess as I entered law and the rest of adult life, I also began to kind of fall away from that childhood dream. And I was never quite sure. I felt that I could craft sentences, but I wasn't sure that I could craft a story. And it was only when I read a particular novel called Still Life by A.S. Byatt that it suddenly occurred to me that I didn't need a story of the kind that I had in mind back then to write a book. It was also possible to write a perfectly worthwhile book that was an exploration of relationships and dynamics and ideas. And I guess that's how I started writing Certain Exposure. So yeah, this moment is a bit of a culmination of a childhood dream for me.